G'day, folks, and how you going? It's great to have you back here. Welcome to another episode of Encounters Down Under Live. It's great to see you here. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, actually. I think it's been a week, actually. But yeah, look, guys, great to have you back on here. It's absolutely fantastic. We're going to have an awesome show tonight there. I'm really excited for this one there because we've got Mick returning tonight. But yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like button there. Share it wherever you need to go. Share it to wherever it feels relevant at the time there. But yeah, make sure you hit that like button for us, or make sure you leave a comment wherever you're watching it from. Helps with the algorithms there for other pages and whatnot there, and it gets us a bit more seen across the old social medias and whatnots. But yeah, guys, look, before we get going there, also don't forget, if you have had an encounter there, I want to hear your encounter. Come and please talk to me. Get in contact with me through the Facebook Messenger page or the Australian UFO sightings at outlook.com email. Sorry, .com.au email. Remember, there's an AU at the end there. We're Australian. But yeah, by all means, come and talk to me, please. I'd love to get you on the show here and have a chat and get your encounter out there, as that's what I'm hoping to achieve here and get more sightings out there. But anyway, look, we'll get cracking into this there tonight. It's going to be an exciting night tonight because we've got Mick returning on the show there. He's probably my first guest on the show to come back for a third time. I think from memory there. So we've got a new record. You beauty. But yeah, if you haven't listened to Mick beforehand, I suggest you do, because we had some absolute nail biters there. He left us there with a bit of a cliffhanger there. After the first episode there, and after the second episode we had with him there, it was mind blowing, to say the least. But now he's gone this fantastic journey there so far. He's trying to dive down deep into his own encounters and stuff like that, and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But what better way to go and explain all this and see where he's gone down his journey here without getting Mick on himself? So let's get him on here. G'day, Mick. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Quick change of look.
yeah, it's awesome, mate.
How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Good, mate. Yeah, you come through a lot better this time there, like compared to last time. You're a little bit low on the volume last time, but we've got you a bit better this time, which is good. It's absolutely fantastic, mate. Mate, it's fantastic having you back here, mate. Because last time we were talking, it was your encounters and your experiences and the way your whole emotional ride was going. Like, you left us going for an emotional ride ourselves here, like going, what the hell is going on with this guy? Like, it was an incredible encounter what you've experienced there, and mate, now you've gone through this whole journey trying to figure out your whole story, your whatever hell is going on with your life, sort of thing. Mate, please tell us what has been going on. What's been your journey so far?
Very, very, very interesting, to be honest. And as you can tell by the smile on my face, it's not a negative thing. And yeah, sorry, just letting the shivers sort of settle down as you said that. Yeah, it's definitely emotional. There's no two questions about it. Where do you want to start?
Fair enough. Oh no, shit. I got my own shit going on here at the moment. Sorry, mate. Go through it. I'm trying to shut my phone up, but it won't turn off. There we go. Go for it. No, so, right, mate, look, let us go through it, mate. Let's go.
Well, look, let's just start. The one thing that's been playing on my mind is it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's art. It doesn't matter if it's money. It doesn't matter what it is. Belts, handbags. The human nature is to replicate, is to reproduce, is to almost mimic and trick people into these things. And yeah, I look at, and please don't, I don't want to offend anyone, but I look at things like Scientology, I look at crop circles, I look at all this stuff, and I go, well, there's been hoaxes, and there's definitely hoax religions out there that are based on, things that you may question. I come back to the encounters and the things that people have experienced. Where's those hoaxes? Where are those elaborate efforts to try and fool people and trick people? Apart from the odd bodgy Loch Ness photo, or back in the 60s and 70s, people hanging a hubcap off a fishing line. Where's the hoaxes? Like, where is it? Like, I seem to fall short of where people jump on board and try and suck people in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, look,
There's
honestly, there's quite a few there on social media, on Facebooks and that. A lot of CGI crap going on there, or people misidentifying a lot there. Like, there's the misidentifying stuff is not really hoaxes as such, but there is a lot of CGI crap going on at the moment there, which people do try and claim.
yeah, which is something I never grew up with. That's a
Mm,
bit of a new phenomena, um, and I guess yeah, the hardest thing is with this new technology, which I hadn't even taken into consideration. But with this new technology, yeah, I guess you really do have to question, I guess, what you're seeing. And I've seen some images of late that have come across my social media, and I think this is this
there's
is
too
nonsense.
much of it. There's
Yeah,
too
it's
much of
that.
it these days, and there's too many people that are actually legitimately going, "Oh, it's real," and it's like, "Oh, come on, you're really doing us a discredit here with the bloody UFO community.
A,
You're
ma-
making us look like idiots here.
a
Come on."
massive disservice. Yeah, so that's one
It is.
application I haven't even taken into consideration. So I guess growing up in my era and my generation, yeah, we didn't have any of that nonsense. Like, the biggest hoaxes we had with anything to do with these type of encounters, like I said, was someone hanging a hubcap off a fishing
Yeah.
line and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have any of this CGI nonsense. But like even with the crop circles, you look at some of those, and some of them were definitely done by man. They were definitely done by boards. They were definitely done by two old mates that went out and tried to have a bit of a laugh. But then you look at
Yeah.
all the 98, 99% of all the other ones, and the genetic structure of the plants, the bending in the stalks, the things are still growing. They're still healthy. It does. It makes you question it. But yeah, no, the journey I've been on's been really good, really good. Quick question: how was your last night at Caldwell? The group get together that you went to.
Oh, the UFO festival. Yeah, no, it was absolutely brilliant. I absolutely had a fantastic week there. It was awesome. Love to go and do it again. Did my own little first little presentation. I did actually throw that up on YouTube there because I actually found the footage again, which I need to go back through and start running audio editing and all sorts of stuff now and get that. So I hopefully have it up soon enough. But yeah, I threw me my first public presentation up there, and it was actually a lot of fun. It was good. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I wasn't prepared for it because yeah, well, technology wasn't on my side there, and time wasn't on my side either. But either way, it was still a lot of fun.
Well, that would be my first, I guess, physical experience since I last spoke, and since my last encounter was that night.
Oh,
And
true.
yeah, Cannon Hill in Brisbane, and good night. Rather warm. Very rare occasion. I got to hang with one of my brothers and the youngest one, and I was with a couple of friends, and there was a little bit of I guess a generational gap, maybe there wasn't a sync there between my youngest brother and these older boys that I knew. We were in the backyard. It was quite cut off, and they've got two beautiful dogs. And I just remember standing back and just thinking to myself, I don't feel connected here. I don't feel like I normally would with my brother and with my friends. And at that point in time, it's a massive dog, it's like a polar bear, but it's dark. He's just rocked up beside me and just shoved my hand. And I looked at him and gave him a bit of a pat, and he just sort of shook his head and walked away. And I was like, oh, that's really weird. That was a bit odd. And I just sort of stood there, looked at my friends, looked at my brother, and just had a whole sensation on my whole body to just stop and just relax and think about where I am and what I'm doing. And at that point in time, I just had a flash. It was just like a flash of light, like a speed camera, like a light bulb, just blink. And I just thought, oh, that was weird. And I looked at one of my mates who was beside me. I said, did you see that? And he goes, yeah, what was that? I said, I don't know. I said, it might have been lightning. And he goes, oh, it must have been. And I'm looking across the skies, and there's nothing. There's no clouds. There's no nothing. There's plenty of stars out. You could see the harbour. You could see the containers in Brisbane, the airport. You could see everything. You could see the planes coming and going. You could see everything. It was a beautiful, clear night. and I just stopped, looked up, and just seen one flash, just one flash of light, just like an indicator, just blink, blink, off and on, and had this complete sensation of wholeness and peacefulness that I don't experience every day. And it was great. It was fantastic, but I didn't need to elaborate on it. I didn't need to do anything else. And once I sort of took that in and accepted that, oh, this has just happened, everything changed. The whole atmosphere changed. That the big dog come back and just rubbed up against me and just stood beside me. And it's not a social dog. It doesn't. It's the owner's dog, so he doesn't associate with many people at all. But he just come up, stood there beside me, just pushing into me. I used to do a bit of farrier work with the horses, and mainly with the Clydesdales draft horses. Did a few race horses, and the Clydesdales and the draft horses were the laziest. Like they would just push and lean on you. Like, oh, you want to lift my leg up? I'm happy to lean all over you. And this is what this dog was doing, and it refused to leave. It just like I was like, just leave me alone. And yeah, after a while, like it must have been a few minutes. My brother said, "You all right, brother?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I am. Are you guys all right?" And they're like, "Yeah, hell yeah! Like, well, this is really good." And the whole atmosphere had sort of changed. I don't know if it was from me or the energy you give off or take in, but yeah, that was the basically first experience was that night, your last night up there. So that was good.
Yeah, that's cool as. Like, so what do you sort of feel like might have been the, I don't know, what the vibe? Like, what's going on here? Like, you sort of busy day at work maybe, or, a bit of a shitty week kind of thing?
No, I've just been on a bit of a journey with frequencies, with energies, and I think I've just become a little bit more sensitive to what was going on. And yeah, I'll tell you stories later on, but this instinct, I guess I'd call it, has helped me all my life. I may not have realised it, but I've definitely helped all my life, and very recently it come to form. So yeah, not sure, to be honest. Just had a sense of it's okay.
Yeah, no, fair
We're,
enough. I think
we
that's good. Like, I'm glad you sort of pushed through that. Then, like, it turned into a good night sort of thing for you. Like, was it sort of like a night that you hadn't done recently, or like something that's sort of a bit overdue, or something that is like just a random weekend together sort of thing?
No, just totally out of the blue, random, last minute. Yeah, and I cut the night short
Fair enough.
because I just wanted to come home and do some more study and more research. Like, I think they carried on for a few more hours. I was just like, I want to go home now. I need to look at stuff. I need to keep looking. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was
right.
good. It
No,
was good.
that's good.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I've had a look into a lot of these energy balls that we spoke about. We discussed previously.
Yeah.
That's certainly a lot larger phenomenon than I realised. A lot
Okay.
larger, dated back centuries, right through ancient Egypt. These what's been described, I guess, generically as energy.
Yeah. There's a lot of history there that we
Orbs.
don't know about, and that we're sort of slowly rediscovering it. And like, as you
Yeah,
would know, as you're going through yourself there, you find out
yeah,
a
a
lot more.
lot, a lot, a lot that just we've just got a large plane going overhead, so sorry about that.
Hey, you're right.
A lot of military activity around here lately, a lot more than usual.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on there, eh?
Yeah, a lot of helicopters, a lot of large planes taking off. Not so many of the fighter jets. I don't hear much of them during the night. They do a few takeoffs after 9 a.m. in the morning, but yeah, these big planes and the helicopters, they're just continuous for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So not sure what's
Hmm.
going on, but let's just all hope it doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, the way the world is. It's bad enough.
It is. So yeah, look, tell us
No
where
doubt.
you've been going through those energy balls. Like, obviously, it's something that sort of helps you along the path there. Sort of elaborate a bit more on what you sort of describe these energy balls at for those who don't really understand what they are.
Yeah, well, in one of the previous episodes, we discussed when I was sitting in the backyard out at Lightning Ridge, and I was sitting there with a couple of Murray gentlemen, and we were just sitting there having a bit of a discussion in the backyard about mining and about roo shooting and getting some meat for the dogs, and we just had this. I guess you would call it the size of a cantaloupe, no bigger than that, like a bit bigger than a softball. It just comes straight between us, literally as quick as you could possibly imagine, quicker than any bird. And it just comes straight between us, comes straight down head level in between the three people talking that were all no less than 1.5 meters apart. And the focus I had on it was enough to see that it almost reflected what it was going past. It was almost invisible unless you caught direct contact vision with it. Like you would have seen a movement, wouldn't have registered. But the energy, this orb that went past was no more than energy. It had to be energy. I couldn't describe it as any more than that. As it flew past head level through the yard, we have high fences out there. It just picked up its hot, shot off, like just a lot quicker than what it went through the yard. And by the time I stopped watching it and turned around to discuss what just took place with the two boys I was with, they were up, gone, chairs are over, they were out. I'm gone. See you later. They did not want to discuss it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. And yeah, I think even to get a word out of them today about it would probably make them turn a few shades wider. But yeah, it certainly left me with a sense of positivity. But there was, as much as it wasn't physical, it was physical. Like this thing physically went past us. You could nearly feel its motion. It was that close to us, and yeah, that was say my first and only experience with an orb ball, an energy ball. I've seen similar in photos that I've had and taken over the years, and a lot of people sort of look at those and go, "Holy crap! Like, what is that?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure. It's just it's in the photo, and it's not in every photo, not in all photos. Just in photos with some people, and not with others. So they're definitely there. They're definitely real. I've got no question on that." But yeah, as far as the energy goes and the frequencies that I've been sort of looking into, there's definitely a large rabbit hole there to go down, and you don't have to look far to see the research that governments, that people have been putting into this for forever, trying to harness it. Tesla, you can ring out names. US presidents, they've all tried to go down that path of trying to harness these energies that I don't think we're even aware of, to be honest. I don't think they fit with our mainstream science. I don't think they fit with our way of thinking. I don't think they fit with what we would class as our dimension, I guess, our environment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of history there with like the governments and that trying to go on. Oh well, at least, I don't know. I'm speculating again here. Like reports of the governments trying to get into this whole spiritual realm. They're investigating into it. They're trying to test it and do their own sort of research into it to try and control it or sort of try and make some sort of I don't know, maybe even a weapon out of it or some way they can sort of use it to their own advantages. It's just one of those things. Like,
they've definitely done that already. There's facts and proof out there that they've done that. They've got energy weapons now. They've got them attached to the top of Hummers, helicopters, towers, and you know, the push of a button, they can incapacitate you. They can do you serious harm.
Yeah, definitely. Just need to go and check your connections there, mate. You're just coming through with a bit of a delay at the moment. You're sort of cutting in and out a little bit there. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'm not sure if it's an audio thing or it might be your internet connection.
Not the first time we've had this issue.
I know.
Yeah, internet's good, but we've got a lot of these. Like, I've got another military plane flying right over me now.
So they got their EMPs coming out.
The big ones leaving out of Amberley. Yeah, look, and like I said, we don't get a lot of it, but we do get a lot of interference with the tellies and things like that when these bloody big things fly over.
Yeah, that could be it then.
Communication one goes over, so it could possibly be that plane.
So they're tapping into the stream.
We're pretty close. We're pretty close to the airport. We're pretty neighbourly to the Air Force Base.
Oh, tell them to bugger off. We're trying to do an episode here. We're trying to figure out Mick's journey here.
Yeah, and look, it's been quiet all day. Like at the moment they're flying and they're taking off quite regularly. So bit of a regular occurrence lately.
That's a bugger. Worst timing ever then. So yeah, look, obviously, like you had that encounter with your mates there.
Yes.
It's something that you've sort of figured out that I think you said like you described it as like being intelligent to the point there where it was like almost paused with you or something like a split second. I think you might have mentioned a split second, like it stopped there and like aware that you guys there or something. I might be putting words in your mouth now. I can't quite remember now. But you were aware that it was some sort of intelligent sort of energy.
It was just an engagement. Yeah, absolutely. The way it flew over the fence, the way it changed direction, the way it changed height. There's no question. And the height it went through us, it raised its height and flew over the fence. Kept that height, kept that trajectory, and then probably another 100 yards, 150 yards down, it just changed direction and went boom, gone, I'm out. See you later.
Yeah.
And, within that sort of split second or two, I turned back and these boys were making dust in my
yard. So what have you sort of figured out on this? Like, also, some people might put them down to being min lights or like, as saying an energy ball or something like that. But either way, some sort of intelligence. So what have you found in your own sort of investigation into it?
Look, speaking to some people recently and also going into a couple of, what do you call them, podcast, live stream, things like these, I've found that these they've been recorded all over the world, almost on a daily basis. They're continuous. There's and we're not talking large balls. We're not talking large light energy. We're not talking anything like that. These things are small and seem to have an intelligent thought basis. Whether it was just passing through on its way through doing its business, or whether it was coming through my yard to make contact, I have no idea. I just feel I was lucky enough to see it that day. The other two boys probably don't feel as lucky, but I just felt I was really lucky to see it that day. It fitted in with a lot of experiences that I'd had, and it didn't shock me. It made me question and made me wonder, but it didn't make me. It didn't stun me. It didn't shock me. It didn't sit me back in my seat. It drew me in. If you could, almost. Well, that's probably the perfect way to describe it. Almost like a magnet going past you, and you just get that sudden, and if you're another magnet, you just get that sudden form of pull and attraction, and then it's gone, just a fleeting second. And there we've got another massive plane going over again. This is Brisbane Airport's not this busy. I can't believe it. Like, this one's close.
Yeah, I can actually hear it this time.
See if you can hear that.
Yep, I can hear it. Bloody noisy bastards. Yeah, it's. I don't know what it's doing. It is doing something with your connection there with the audio.
Diary. I've got my 24. As that goes over.
Yeah, every time they seem to go over, they're doing something with the stream here. It's your audio side.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. Like I said, we get a little bit of disturbance on the televisions, but yeah, the phones they do play up. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with what we're speaking of. I think it's just those big military planes with all the telecommunications and all the stuff on them. Like, yeah, we get a few.
Oh, don't say that. We need to go and say like with the government's listen to us. They're trying to disconnect us. You know, we need that sort of vibe going on.
Well, they certainly don't want us to be speaking about it openly. That's for bloody sure.
No, so we'll blame the connection on the government, not the planes.
This is stupendous. Yeah, oh well, absolutely. I mean, we've only got to look at who's in power at the
moment. Yes. Yeah, that's right. But like you're saying, you know, there's a lot of, well, it's not so much these days, but I dare say there will be a little bit of it going through where, you know, that they don't want the truth coming out too much there. There's a lot of suppression still going on there. You know, we've had David Grush come out, speaking his truths there, David Fravor and all that sort of coming out there. And there still doesn't seem to be a lot happening at the moment. Everything sort of seems to like there's a big hype there for a bit, but now we seem to be sort of sitting on a little bit of the back burners now and going, well, where are we going now with this? Like, you know, we've had this big information, this big declaration from these guys, and there's nothing.
No, exactly. I mean, look at the big 60 Minutes reporter, the Australian reporter that just did that big interview. You know, nothing. You might as well have spoken into a black bucket because we haven't heard anything about it.
Well, especially from Australia's side.
I understand why. Like, I can sort of, yeah, and I can sort of put myself in their shoes and goes, well, hell, is there technology there? Is there stuff we can learn? Is there a threat? You know, the people are going to panic. This a whole heap of things. Like, there's 101 things why they wouldn't want us to know. But the biggest problem is it's the closed-minded human that's making these decisions. It's not someone of the world. It's not someone with global thinking. Now that's why we have different governments. That's why we have states. That's why we have borders, because we have these opposing thoughts. We have these differences of opinions, and we have these different colours of skin. It's easy, I guess, to see why they would want to suppress as much as possible.
Yeah, but it's frustrating though for like the people like yourself, myself, and many others there who have actually seen something, experienced something of that nature. You know, it's like we want more answers. We're stuck. We're sick of sitting in limbo here, going, "What the hell happened to us? Like, what are we seeing here?" And that's the frustrating part, just because they want to go and hide it for their own bloody advantages.
The people that know and the people that believe, I think, far outweigh the people that are adamantly saying, no way in the world this doesn't exist. All the ones in the middle, I don't think care. I don't think have the faintest, foggiest idea or want to. And I have a good example of it. So yeah, there's no, the ones that know and the ones that believe, you would have to bring them half to death to make them change their mind. And it'd only be briefly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone else, they change their mind quick as that. Quick as the tide will change the seaweed, they'll change their mind. The media says so, they say so.
Yeah, that's right. Or unless they experience something themselves.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. Like, so like it's like I don't know. It's frustrating for me. Like especially like seeing everything. Like you were saying before, there's so much CGI crap on the social medias there. Then you got the governments who don't want to really give a crap about this whole reality. Like they're saying they exist, but they don't want to go and keep bringing out the reality of what's happening, or they want to try and filter through all this bullshit and stuff like that. It's like just come out with it already.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the size of the database that would exist if there was just one place you could go where every person that had an experience had to go and register? You know, at the
Yeah.
moment, we've got a couple in Australia. There's a couple in America. There's a few across in Europe. There's none that are global. So we're broken. We're segmented. We don't have
Yeah.
a national front that we can go to as a representation. It'll come. It's coming. Trust me, it's coming.
Yeah.
There's no question. But once
Well,
again, we
there's
still
supposed
have
to be
that
move on.
small-minded, the ego. We still have the, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, that's becoming more and more accessible every day.
Hmm.
There's people.
But
That are
MoveOn
working
was
hard
supposed to be
for
the
these
one that's
things
supposed to be the international sort of front. Whether or not they're
and
genuine
they're
or not, I
struggling.
don't know.
Like, there's,
Yeah, they are.
Look, I think the majority are. There's definitely going to be people involved in that that are going to be detractors and going to be put there to I guess make sure that it's not going to be an easy transition. I guess like in every established corporation and every established sort of group, there's always going to be that one person with an agenda
Hmm.
that may not fit the group's agenda. So yeah, I think you probably have to take that into account. But yeah, we don't have, and like I was just saying, it comes back to that small-minded thing, and fear. Yes, Matthew, definitely fear is a massive factor. You know, you can put that across the board to religion, to everything, to science, to cooking something in a microwave. Some people have fear. Some people do it without thinking. You know, it's across the board. But what I was saying is whilst we don't have this global national front, we don't have this national database because this country won't accept, you know, MUFON, this country won't accept them, and they're not taking credit for who they were taking reports from. And we're not sharing reports with you because you might make some money off it by doing something that we haven't thought of. You know, so there's this whole human factor that's still involved. And I think, you know, once we sort of get into that side of a more open-minded thinking, a more global side of thinking, when it comes to everything, social welfare, safety, this nonsense of war, this ridiculousness of you know, trying to wipe countries out to you know, do whatever you want, is just, you know, and that brings me to the next point. You know, people say, oh, why don't they come out? Why don't they say, oh, we're here? And why don't they say, oh, we're the visitors? Why the hell would they? Most neighbours can't get on.
That's right.
Countries, let alone opposing countries. Police officers can't get on with each other because one's a high patrol officer and one's not. Like, why the hell would these people, and I call them people, and I will call them people, some people call them entities, we've called them aliens, I'm calling them people. They might not be the same as you and me, but they're conscious beings. If they're conscious beings, there's a good chance they have a soul like us. So
Yeah.
From this point, I'm calling them people.
Which is fair enough too.
And I have my reasons, but yeah, that's something I think we've lost in history, whether it be through, we've got another big plane going, whether it be through comets, tidal waves, bloody whatever's happened, polar shifts, whatever's happened to the world in the last thousands and thousands and thousands of years, there's a bloody good chance they've wiped out civilizations we don't even know about.
Yeah, well and truly.
Which would explain a hell of a lot of the ancient technology that we sit here today and scratch our head at.
Yeah.
And have people telling us stories about, oh, it was done by the Egyptians with copper chisels. My ass. I mean, seriously, I couldn't go on one of those tours. I'd get kicked out. I
think a lot of us would, eh?
You know, you look at some of these, you know, I mean, you look at and you know, the thing we spoke about with the form versus fashion, function versus fashion. You look at some of this the most ridiculous tolerances in some of the most hardest stones we know of, and some of the most fragile stones we know of, and they shave these things down to a 60,000th of an inch, and make these vessels 7 feet tall and that thin. They're transparent. These pots that can literally balance on a pinpoint. How do you do that? Like we can't do it today. We haven't
No,
got we don't have the technology here with us currently today to do what was done. But yet we're
no, that's
led to
right.
believe that the Egyptians did it, or the slaves did it, and it was a national effort, and everything was good, and they got paid in honey. Give me a break. I just um, yeah, and looking into this meditation, these vibrations, these frequencies, these things I've been looking into, have led me to looking at some of the oldest sort of meditation that we've in modern history that's been recorded, the monks, Tibet, those sort of places, and you hear of some of the things that have, I guess, not been brought out into the public eye, but have been documented, where there's tunnels and caves underneath those monasteries up in those mountains that they've got artifacts that are dating back thousands of years, not 2, not 3, not 5, not 12, not 13, like the science is saying, but 75,000, 100,000, 200,000 years ago. There's a lot that's gone on this earth before we ever come about as we are, and I don't see any issue in looking at some of the ancient technology, some of the lost ancient buildings, some of the things that we've still got, and happily go, this was done by people that we have no idea about. We are clueless. We would be like a rotten apple compared to the intelligence and the consciousness of some of these civilizations that have been here. And you can't deny they've been here because the proof's still there. So, yeah, I guess that's probably, without getting too sidetracked, that's where I'm leaning with these encounters and what I've been experiencing. Yeah, if you want to chirp in, I'll keep going. But if you want to pipe in there,
No, that's all right.
I'm happy to let you.
No, that's fine, mate. Look, I've mentioned this many times there where I'm sort of leaning towards it's more of a previous terrestrial sort of beings that seem to be inhabiting our space, our skies, wherever, even under the seas. And for whatever reasons they're coming in, and I don't know whether we're being replanted onto the earth there and just sort of being observed from the distance for whatever reasons. I'm not really sure. It's just one of those things. But like you're saying, there's so much history there, and
Well, I
from,
think, yeah.
yeah, sorry, mate.
No, I was going to say, I think your subconscious sort of broke through there a little bit. Like you didn't say extraterrestrials, you said terrestrial beings.
Yeah. Well,
They're
I'm
the
trying to
Earth.
think what I'm trying to think what the ultra terrestrial. I think there was a term that they use mostly these days. If there have been a previous civilization, I've heard reports there, people
Yeah,
claim that the world has reset like several times throughout this lifetime, 3, 4 times, however long, But there's even like stories there where like dinosaurs were existing like only a few thousand years ago, and it's like, well, shit,
yeah,
if dinosaurs were that bloody close to
yeah.
or living amongst humans and stuff like that, where is this come in the context of our history and that? Like, why has that been, cast
And
aside and
I
all sort of
think it
shit?
does. I think it does. Like I'm not religious, but if you go through the Bible and you look at the amount of entries that actually speak of these animals, and
Yes, yeah,
they may not be called dinosaurs, you know, they may be called something else, but in our modern history, with our modern language, we've called them dinosaurs.
yeah,
You look back, I mean, you go through China, you go through Japan, you go through Europe, you go through nearly every country, the Dreamtime, you go through all of the ancient artifacts and stuff that you see, the scribes, stuff written on the wall. There's pictures of these things that you would class as dragons, as all these sorts of things, and we look at it and we go, dinosaur, because that's what our
yeah,
modern language has taught us. And there's lots of things like this through our history where the Bible speaks of this thing, and we go, well, what was that? we don't really know what that is. Well, we do, but we just call it something else now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was like a few months ago there where it was some sort of civilization, like little tribe somewhere out in the middle of sticks somewhere by themselves. They haven't had much interaction with like, main society and all sorts of stuff, and very little, if anything at all. And they basically asked them like, do you know what an alien is? And they're like, no idea. Couldn't tell you. Until they mentioned the term of something like that, or sorry, no, they showed him a picture. I think it was. They showed him a picture of what classic sort of grey alien or something like, and they
Yeah,
recognized it. And
straight
it's like,
away.
well, they said, oh, I can't remember what they called it. They go, oh yeah, no, he's like the bad guy. He'll take you away or something like, like something like that. There's some more story to it. I can't remember it off the top of
Yeah,
my head there, but these things are being
yeah.
recognized everywhere. And
They speak about one of the Egyptian statues. I think is it Ramses or one of those, and they speak of him quite often, and the features of that, and a couple of others. And you look at the wolf-headed guy, and the alligator-headed guy, and it's not too hard to go, oh crap, these different types of beings, these different entities. Um, they've been around for a long time, and there's no question. There's as many different species and I guess breeds of them as there are us,
mm,
if not more.
yeah. Yeah, well, now they're claiming there's more below, the Egyptian statues and the pyramids and all sorts of stuff. They reckon there's more below that than what we're seeing on the surface there. Now that we've got better, I think the lidars. Is it lidars that do the ground sonar penetrations and that? I think it is.
Yeah, I think
You know,
so. Yeah, the ground
like they
penetration. There's there's one section there where they've found out the front of the main pyramid. I think it is where it's more than a 7,500 foot drop down through the walkway pavers, and it's been accepting sand for as long as we've uncovered it. To think, you got to remember all that was covered up, like the Sphinx was covered up to its neck. So half of those pyramids were buried up to that height. So they've taken
yeah.
that sand off that layer to make it accessible for tourists, and this sand's still falling down through this walkway.
That's a lot of sand to go through.
And they're feeding
But
it through.
it
Going,
just
look.
yeah. But it just proves that
Uh,
like how much has been lost in the history there with the alteration of the earth, doing its cycles and that. I mean, like
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
absolutely.
that they found an ancient
Yep.
civilization or an ancient city just off Japan there last year. I think it was. I think they've
Yeah.
discovered something recently somewhere else. Like they're discovering all these new places all the time. They're going, there was something.
All
There's
the
even
time.
something just above Australia, in between Australia and PNG, that they discovered something there.
Yeah.
So
And
like so much has been lost.
they're all basically in that 150 to 300 foot space off the coastlines of the nearest land.
Yeah.
They all fall within this area off coastlines. They're not out in the middle of the oceans. They're all
No.
off the coastline of land.
Yeah. So
That ain't
it's
random.
amazing. Like, no, it's not. Like, there's even I think there's even one just above it, like another spot in PNG or somewhere along in Indonesia. There somewhere where they got an old city there as well. Just they still got they don't have the walls or anything like that, but still got the foundations of the actual buildings there and that, and that's been lost
Yeah.
for
There's a
however
lot
long
of
there, and it's something.
there's a lot of stuff to come out of PNG, I think, and like even Antarctica. They've scientifically proven that under that ice was a rainforest.
Yeah.
And you look and this is an interesting fact I heard the other day. The Amazon jungle is basically an overgrown, introduced garden
I heard
that
something
have just
about
been
that.
let loose.
Yeah. It was
There's
that, yeah, actually
thousands
cultivated.
there is thousands and thousands of more settlements and monuments to be found in the Amazon with that technology we're speaking of, with the lidar. They fly
It
over
lied
and
us, yeah.
remove the foliage. There's thousands more, thousands that they haven't,
Mm.
and that's a whole metropolis of cities that were there. All the people just left, and here we are, a few hundred years later, jungles are taken over, and we look at it and go, "It's the Amazon jungle." They should stop ripping
Yeah.
trees down. They should stop deforesting it. It was never natural. It was basically introduced species.
Yeah. Ah, look, there he is, the old trip, and he's in there. I was going to reference him there earlier about the dragons. Draw me a dragon if you don't know what a dragon looks like. So, but here he is. He's button in there with 10 million square miles now underwater. That was above prior to the last cataclysm. So, was it? So 12,000 to 11,000 years ago, roughly. So there you go.
Yeah, that's basically what they're saying with that mud line that's basically found all over the earth was the last one that sort of fitted that period. And then you go into a few of these places they're talking about where, you know, these people settled and were gone and never ever heard of again. But I mean, this has been going on since the earth was around. Like, this isn't a new thing. You look at the and they've proven the impact sites through America and through Europe and things like that. Like the one they talk about where the big bloody meteor took out all the dinosaurs, and you know, you look at what they talk about in the Bible. You look about what the history of these countries speak of, and you know, there was great balls of fire. There was this. There was that. The earth opened up and swallowed. This is all happening. Like, this is all phenomena that happens today and has been happening forever. We just, like I said, our language has changed and we describe it differently.
No, that's right. And there's even some places down in South America. I'm hoping Triffin's still listening there. I can't remember what they're called, but it got these big drawings in the dirt and the side of the mountains there, and you got these mountains that have been sort of like cut off the top there. And so I'm hoping, Triffin, you're going to help me out here, mate, because I can't remember the top of my head here now. But you know, it's another proof that there's something happened in the past.
There's a few in all over in England. There's a few in America. We've got a couple here. The most well-known one we've got is what the university degree people are saying was made by our Aboriginal people. And we had one farmer come out and say, no, I did it. It was me.
Yeah.
I did it with my tractor. And this thing is the biggest one on the planet. Like, it is massive. It is huge, and it's almost what you would call an indigenous man, apart from the headdress and the head that's depicted, I guess.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Yeah,
if you look at this,
there's a lot of
just
that.
let me share screen here for a second there. Which one is it? Is that one? We'll go with that one. So this one here, where'd that go? There we go. The Nazca line. So thank you, Triff, for picking up on that one there. So these things here have been around for thousands of years. And it's like, well, that's just the thing that's been thrown together, like all the ones that have been discovered so far. And they're still discovering more of these today. And it's like, well,
all the time.
What the hell? What are these supposed to be? Like, what's the purpose of these? And
exactly. I mean, our indigenous people, we did Bora grounds. You know, we did Bora rings. You know, we made things that you know, were carved into trees. We made mounds on the ground in the shape of snakes. We didn't do anything like that.
Oh, but that's something that's like that's just like, you know, it's incredible. Like, they were taking a long time to go and build these things. And then you got the mountain tops there. Like, that's another one.
That big one we've got, you know, it's massive. Like, it's apparently it's the
biggest one. That's the one down in South Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was that one called?
How are you doing that? Like, you're not doing that with a string line and a couple of mates.
No way.
Well, you drop a few drones up and go, oh, mate, a few meters to the left there. Like, it's not happening.
That's right.
Oh, mate, and his old HQ ute isn't doing burnouts in the paddock making that.
No, that's right. Like, look, if someone was to go out there and do that via GPS, there, like the span of like how big this thing is, though, it's like unless they own a shit ton of land there, or they're just going bold through fences or something like that, you know, just building these pictures from the sky. I don't know, like what.
it's one
Dunno.
thing to mow "I love you" to the missus in your lawn,
That's right. Yeah.
but it's a whole new scenario doing something like that.
Isn't it? What? I want to try and find that now so I can share that one because that was oh, what do they call it? It's something man. The Murray man. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, it
You're
is.
good at this. I love this.
That's the one.
You're carrying me here, Trev. Thanks, mate.
But yeah, I mean, you
So there we
look
go.
at
Share this one up.
without going too much off the track. You look at the diversity of life that we have on our planet. You
That's
know,
not it.
from the smallest plankton to the biggest whale, the biggest mammal. The diversity of life we have is amazing on this planet. And then you look at
Yeah.
the size of our planet compared to the rest of the galaxy. Like, there's got to be a you know, and even the diversity of life we haven't discovered here on our own planet. There's got to be a massive diversity of life that we haven't even considered.
Yeah. So I think there's one. I think there's another one from memory.
There's a few in Australia, but like I said, and like you were saying, that a lot of these are still yet to be discovered. You know, you'd be driving past that on the side of a hill and go, "Oh, there's a white line in the hill." You take a plane over it, and this brings me to a point where I've actually got this written down on my list, my list of things
Oh
we
yeah.
need to discuss.
Go for it.
I've actually got this
Oh,
written down here. Restricted areas. The amount of restricted areas that our governments put on us. You can't fly over there. Oh, you're not allowed to go through that part of the Grand Canyon. You can't go through there. You can't go over that hill. You're not allowed in this area. We've got sensitive things over here. We can't let you go. And you start to question, well, why?
Yeah. Like, especially I love that with Mish there. Mish saying my partner wrote he loves me really big in the grass with weed
I
killer.
just read it.
The poor grass. I hope it was a Valentine's Day one, or it was just or did you kick him out of the doghouse or something like that? He had to go and try and get himself back inside somehow. Get himself back in the good books.
That's funny.
But you know, like exactly, like
yeah,
there's all these restricted areas there. You can go through Google Maps there. You can't. There's like lots of areas that are blacked out. Like there's a couple in Antarctica.
Out.
It's like, why Antarctica? Why?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's stupid. Like why?
Yeah, I mean, even Rio Grande, National Yellowstone. You know, there's places that are national parks that apparently tourists can go, but there's restricted areas you will not be allowed to go into.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there should be, like, unless, like, okay, yeah, military base? Yep, fair enough. Okay. Block that out. But a random location in the middle of bumfuck nowhere?
Area 50, whatever.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, yeah. Why can't we see that? Why aren't we allowed to? That lovely little military base we've got out in the middle of the ocean, Diego Garcia. Try and bring that up on Google Maps. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But
it just makes you wonder. And it's shit like that makes people go, start bringing in the conspiracy theories. So like the government doesn't help themselves there by creating this bullshit.
Well, they kind of do in a way that maybe they want it that way, so that there are these people out there that are classed as conspiracy theorists, and you don't like what he says, and I don't believe what you're saying, and it makes their job a bit easier.
It does. Yeah. What do they say? Like
sort of brought
disturb the peace.
Yeah, like that national front I was talking about, like that global representation. If there was something like that database, and it can be done. Like, I mean, look at the fingerprint database that J. Edgar Hoover sat over and watched get organised, which I'm sure he had bugger all to do with, but a lot of people worked really hard and really smart. You look at that database now, and I mean, it's only been going on for what, 40 years, 50 years, something like that. So a database is possible, and you bring that database to the forefront of any government, and they are just going to shit themselves, because you cannot ignore a mountain of data in front of your building.
Yeah, it's shit. It's frustrating, to say the least. And as Triffin said, like, how much of it is all disinformation crap? it could very well be all
Absolutely.
disinformation.
And like, you briefly look at like we spoke about the technology of the past, and the technology that must have been available at the time to be able to do the things they did, like carving these statues that are carbon copies of themselves over and over again. These what we class as, once again, this language thing, what we class as these vases that have been found all through Egypt and Europe, and all different shapes and sizes, but all have an exact same measurement in mathematics that is just cannot be
Yeah.
replicated by accident. We look at them and go, oh, they're vases. And my research and my thought process and the line I've been going down, I look at them and go, no, they're batteries. They're vessels that are
Yes, I've
placed
heard something about
into
this. Yeah.
something that contains something that can transfer energy. I mean, there's a company in Texas right now. I think it's don't quote me on that. I think it's Texas. It may very well be Oklahoma, somewhere like that, somewhere out in Midwestern America or somewhere. There is a company right now that has built a large Tesla tower, and it's the largest Tesla tower that's been built in the world. Sorry, another big plane, and they can now, and this is fact. This isn't fiction. This isn't made up. They can now remotely send power anywhere in the world, with no cable, no wiring, through this.
Triffin will be
Tesla
frothing. He'd be like, "Oh, I need to get on this." Yeah, I bet she's there right
yeah,
now.
absolutely. Like, I mean, and the technology and the information is there, but you've got to dig for it. You've got to research it, because the government ain't sticking up a little thing on their
No.
government web page going, "Hey, click here to check out this."
No, that's right.
They'd much prefer to keep worried about who's in power.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've also just
And I'll tell
invented
you
something
what,
there where they can
if
actually
there's
take.
any aliens around. Sorry, Anthony,
You're right, go. You're right. There's a bit of delay. There's
I was going to say, if there's any aliens around, I think it's our current Queensland Premier. Like, if that guy, if that guy's not human, it wouldn't.
Actually, I don't even know who our
in
premier is at the
Queensland.
moment. Who is our premier? I haven't taken notice of who
No,
that
I
is
don't
now.
even know his name, but
All I know is
he
old
is
love there,
cardboard.
buddy, kicked herself out there and had enough now, and I don't even know who the hell the one's taken over from her now. I don't take notice of politics.
Yeah,
Anyway.
look, she has a lot of answering to do. There's,
Yeah.
you look at, I mean, like the Gympie Pyramid, for instance.
Yeah.
Some people say it was connected to Egypt. Everyone that sort of doesn't want to believe that theory says, well, it's a sacred site. And I've got photos of the signs that the government put up there saying this is a sacred site. You cannot enter this site. Any person that enters this site is up for a $15,000 fine. Any corporation that enters this site is up for a $150,000 fine. And they walked in there with main roads and they bulldozed that. They bulldozed that to the ground. They razzed it and they put a highway over it that was totally unnecessary. It was a highway that wasn't needed, wasn't required, but they just put this extra little bit of a loop of the highway in to take out the pyramid. Now, people can scoff, people can do whatever they want. Do some research, check the history. There's photos. There's photos in Maryborough. There's photos in Gympie when they were dismantling it. There's still residents that were related to the people that were in charge of pulling this down and using the blocks from the pyramid to line churches and the municipal buildings in Maryborough in the main street. You can step over into these properties and look back at the footpath, the street, and still see some of the hieroglyphs that are written on these stones.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna check that out. If you can find that for me there, and
this has happened in the last 12 months. The government has destroyed that site. I went up there a couple of weeks ago, and I've found a section of the pyramid that's literally 50 metres from the highway. It's just a section of wall that's been left, and I don't think they've realised it's there. Otherwise, I reckon they would have destroyed it as well.
So they've actually taken out the Gympie Pyramid now. Is that right, for that bypass?
It's gone, mate. There's one side of it that you may find some remnants, but they have literally gone through the middle of it. I mean, and this is a site where they found scarab beetles. This is a site where they found a statue of the first dynasty of Egypt, where they worshipped a gorilla god. That god statue is still in the museum in Gympie.
Yeah, right. It sort of makes you wonder, like,
So,
if they,
but
whilst they're constructing this new highway, have they found anything?
oh, absolutely, they would have. There's no question they would have. They locked up the elders. They literally locked them up and then removed them from the site. The workers all had to sign saying we're not allowed to discuss this, we're not allowed to disclose anything, we're not allowed to speak to the public, we're not allowed to speak to the media. They had that place, they had security guards there 24/7, they had cameras there set up on stationary poles. Nowhere else on the highway section that was upgraded did they do that.
That's shit. Because
And
I
you
was
think,
wanting to try and do a
well,
thing here with the
it's
Gimpy
worse
Pyramid.
than that. It's worse than that, really, Anthony. It's worse than shit. It's criminal.
Yeah.
You think about what that mines company did in Western Australia, and how much the media jumped up and down about the desecration they did to the artwork on those walls, and we have just destroyed a fucking building, a pyramid.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So yeah, no question. She shut up and she ran. She's run for very good reason, because she's going to have a lot of answering to do.
Yeah, there's no point trying to hit her up either, because she's gonna go, "Oh, I know nothing." But anyway,
Yeah, and look, I mean,
there's so
anyone that
much
says,
history
Gimpy
lost.
Pyramid, what a load of nonsense. Throw it in your maps. Just type in on your Waze, pull up your Waze maps and type in Gimpy Pyramid. It'll take you there.
Because yeah, like I was saying, I was wanting to hopefully go down there myself there and go and check it all out there. And I know a trip from unlocking the code there. I was wanting to go and
I've been
try and
trying.
organise setting up lidars through there and all sorts of stuff. But it's now
Yeah,
it's
look, I've
pretty
been
much
trying for
gone.
years. There's still people that
Shit.
have access to the area. You still can. I still believe there's a good chance that they may actually enhance the opportunity of finding something there now. There's been a lot of ground moved.
So hang on, this is the
But
pyramid
yeah, and I
here. I'm
mean,
just
like
trying to go and
you
bring it
come
up.
back,
Take a
like we
look.
were just discussing we were trying to just discussing the vessels that have been found through Cairo, Egypt, in Europe, and then you step that up to the pyramids themselves. They say,
Yeah.
oh, this is the pyramid, Gaza, and this was built for the tomb of whatever. They've never found a tomb in any of the pyramids, and they still look at the pyramids today, and they can't explain why these corridors and why these tunnels are on these angles. The collection and some of these places have been found with channeling through them that could have had what they believe copper pipes running through them.
That's right.
Look at that. See that? Stop there. See the Aboriginal flag in that sign?
Yep.
Yep, that's the one. I have that photo. I have photoed that sign. And you read the fine print on that.
Well, if I could zoom into it, I would. Let's have a look if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've done here.
It clearly states you
Zoom
ain't
in.
walking in there without permission.
What are we doing here? No, what are you doing? I want to zoom into that.
And look, I mean, we have proof. There's at least 2 other pyramids that I'm aware of, both in central Queensland, central North Queensland.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of places around it, but the fact that it's so
yeah,
that's close to home
another
for me, it's something I really want to go look through. That's shit.
Yeah, and there's
It's
another
just
one
really.
apparently outside Townsville.
Oh yeah. I know there's they got the Black Mountain there in Cairns or something like that. I think it's called Black Mountain or something like that. That's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's another one that's been looked at.
So what is it? A pyramid in Townsville, is it? Or is it just another site?
Yeah, just on the outskirts of Townsville somewhere apparently.
It's
south. I think it's south of Townsville.
Got Walsh's Pyramid, Cairns, south of Cairns, highest freestanding. Maybe that one.
And once again, you've got you've got people that'll throw articles in there to try and disperse it and try and detract from it. But
Yeah.
You go through and you actually do the effort and actually look into it. There's a lot there to be found, a lot there to talk about. Certainly a lot to discover. That's for sure. There's no question. So we're getting through this list. This is pretty good. I'm looking down, going, hell yeah.
That's good.
But you look at well, look. I mean, let's just touch on religion for instance.
Yep.
It's apparently it's about faith. Apparently, it's about believing in a higher being. It's about believing in God, Jesus. But every religion is based on money.
Yes.
Every religion has a form of trying to take from the people that apparently go there to worship. Call it what you like. They're taking money. You look at the Catholic Church; they're not even a legal entity. But I still think to this day they're not even a legal entity. But yet they have the biggest holding of property in the world. That is their whole being. Nothing else in the world is stupefying to me.
No, I think even the Catholic Church even owns the Ferrari, doesn't it?
Touch on the Bible, and you look at some of the things that are written through the Bible. Oh, it wouldn't surprise me one little bit. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit. They're it's part of their country.
Yes, right. Yeah. Oh, makes sense of that one, will you?
Force. They got their own government, but apparently they got a worldwide religion. I sort of, I look at that and just sort of, I kind of scoff a little bit. You look at science and the research and the development and the health that science has given us. And then you look over at religion and you go, they're giving us some pretty nice buildings, some bloody nice artwork, and there's some pretty flashy windows. And they've apparently given us places to go and worship. But the majority of religions, and you look into the basics, the birth of religions, especially let's go with the Catholic Church, which I know more about than most other religions. You've got to come to church. The Lady Fatima Church is here for you to come to and to give you some solace, and for you to be able to give us a bit of money to help the needy and the running costs of the church and this, that, and the other. I know for a fact the Catholics' firm belief, old Catholic firm belief, is that the church is where the people are. And this was taught to us in the Bible. There ain't no building. The church is where the people are. The people gather there. That is the church. Hence why I got married out in the middle of a bloody opal field on top of a pile of opal dirt with a Catholic priest standing on top of it, looking at me, just shaking his head like, yes, this is meant to be happening in the church. Matey, you're in the church. This is where the people are. And he just stood there, shook his head. He said, you've got me there.
That's good.
I get further and further away from religion the more and more I travel down this path. And you want to sort of put a bullshit filter in your life. Have a listen to Graham Hancock, Richard Carlson. I mean, these guys are far more educated than you and me put together. And the stuff that they're researching and looking into and they're bringing forward and getting shot down in flames by the academics, to the point where, it would affect most people's mental health. But they're still fighting, they're still going strong, they're still speaking out. Even though it may not be in direct relation to what we sort of discuss with our encounters, it certainly is a large link there. There's certainly, I've heard that Richard Carlson speak of and talk about these energy orbs that have been documented. So they're great if you want to sort of listen to some people that are not pompous, not speaking in scientific terms that you can't understand. And they've done a fair bit with, I think it's Brothers of the Serpent, I think is a really good one from Texas. And Undiscovered X or Unencountered. I'm not sure. I'll have to confirm that, but there's some really good stuff there that it's so easy to get a hold of, and the research has been done, the work's been done. These guys are sneaking in, lidar stuff into these places, and getting evidence that was never been brought forward before. So
that's
there's
good.
definitely paths you can go down with a lot of ease. I know not everyone's a big reader, but this technology, the access to these things is here now. As much as we need to say, yes, we need to be careful of what we're looking at and what we hear with the current technologies and the new stuff that's been shoved down our throat. It also has made it easier in such a way for us to connect. We wouldn't have been able to have this discussion 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
It just wouldn't happen. Like
especially in that sort of
internet,
mindset too. Like
another fabulous human invention, the internet. All this stuff, and that brings me back to what I've said in the past. You look at the birthday cards and the Christmas cards that we've got, 10 years ago, that you could open up and it'd make a little digital happy birthday song, or a Christmas carol. That little battery and just the little fold open bit of cardboard that activates it. There is more technology in one of those cards than there was on the face of the planet before 1950. Let that sink in for a minute. More technology in
that's right.
one of those $2.50 cards from the cheap shop than there was on our whole planet before 1950.
Yeah. There's probably more technology in that than the lunar lander.
Of modern history. Microchips. 99% silica. What? And the things are doing what? Yeah. Microprocessing thought, and you just go, holy crap. And yet here we have all this technology, but we still can't even carve out a monolith or a stone for one of the pyramids that'll fit as well as it does. That was, apparently done 12,000 years ago.
No, that's right. It's ridiculous when you think of the whole timeline of just how much doesn't make sense. And like I've said this many times in the past, our technology boomed all of a sudden from the 1940s basically and onwards, or even a little bit earlier. We just boomed.
Yeah. And I've been in that camp firmly most of my life. I've been in that camp of extraterrestrials. I've been in that camp of aliens. I've been in that camp of visitors from outer space. And my journey I've been on, the recent journey I've been on, and it's been a hell of a journey of discovery, self-growth, and I guess a little bit of madness thrown in. It's made me self-reflect. It's made me look inside. It's made me go over that experience that I had at my sister's, that encounter. It's made me really look into that, and the things that were said, the things that were inferred to me, the familiarity that I speak of, the connection, your brother, your mother, you've got that familiarity of that person that you've grown up with. That was compounded 100 times more with this entity than ever in my life. And that's really plagued me. It's really been one of the driving forces of me going into this and researching it further. And that's where whether it's conscious thought, whether it's subconscious thought, this journey of vibrations, this journey of energy, this journey of frequencies, magnetic resonances has really led me down this path of, this is not a visitor. These aren't visitors in the so-called aspect of coming to Earth to visit. And I'm not speaking of all the entities. I'm talking of the entities that I've been involved with, the entities that I've had a direct contact with. They're familiar to me. They are familiar to my DNA. They're familiar to my being. They are familiar to the breath that I breathe, to the point where this journey has led me down a path of belief that I now firmly believe that these these people I'm obviously having some contact with are just that. They're not aliens. They're not visitors from another planet. These are our people. These are our past. These are our present and our future. They are us. There's no question. Um, my face, sorry, the shivers that just went through me. That's where my belief is. That's where my research will be heading. That's where I will be going to. That's why I've stopped going to work. That's why I am no longer a 35-year construction worker. I've started a small business, and I don't want to turn this into an ad or any advertisement of any type. I've started a small business that I think fits with what I want my journey to be, and gives me a lot of time on the open road, gives me a lot of, and certainly puts me in the middle of nowhere, where there is no interference, there is no, how would you say, light, planes, buildings, reflections, gases coming from the swamps. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, Anthony. That's where I'm at.
No, that's good. Look, like you've obviously done a massive life-changing change, I should say. It's like to go and continue your journey to try and,
Huge.
like to even try and like, I don't know, what would you say? Like to try and find the answers to your questions, and it's like so many of us, like, but a lot of us will be just sitting around here going, well, what's the answer to this question here? But you're starting to try and journey out there to try and achieve those answers. And like, honestly, I hope you do come across
Yeah.
these answers. Like, and obviously, I'm hoping as you're finding these answers, like, I hope you're going to come back to me and go, look, this is what I'm finding, really coming along, and hopefully have more answers for people along the way. It's a massive change, mate. Like, it's. I hope it really works out well for you.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's definitely a positive change in my life. Like I said, I feel more susceptible. I feel more sensitive towards energy of all types. To the point where, like I met a person a few years ago, and the moment I met that person, my whole instinct, my whole body recoiled. And apparently this is a very nice person, a really nice guy. He's got lots of money. He's great. He's this, he's that. And I don't know what your problem is. You've got a bit of an issue. And I couldn't take to him. My whole instinct just said run away from this person. And yet everyone involved with him just, put him under big raps. He's a national figure. He's the current number one in a sport in Australia. And it's just been released that he's been caught with child pornography. So everyone is now coming back to me going, how did you know? Why didn't you like him? What was it about him? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you that. I'm not a bloody psychiatrist. All I know is my instinct and my body said this person is not a person I need to know or want to know in any way, shape, or form. And I've met, Jesus Christ, I've stopped traffic and parked my truck up in the city and caused a traffic jam for an hour and 20 minutes because I went and had lunch with a homeless guy in the park. Like, I mean, I don't care what you look like. I think one of my firm beliefs is I am a mirror and I can only reflect what's before me. So yeah, energy is about everything. If you want to go on and I don't want to call it meditation because meditation just triggers some people, and I'm like, I don't meditate. And if I want to meditate, I'll go and race my motorbike. That's my meditation. That's my nirvana. That's where I get in connected with life, with the world, with the blades of grass, with the lizards I'm riding past. That's my nirvana. That's my religious moment. My connection to everything. People take DMT. I jump on a racetrack, and that's my drug, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, look, I know that drug all too well there.
Back to it. You don't want to meditate, and you don't want to call it meditation, but you want to be able to be open-minded to enough to accept that there's energy. You want to be open-minded to enough to accept that there's frequencies that are out there. There's sound engineers out there that are helping design buildings that won't cause sound, that are going to disturb people down the street. I mean, that this is real. Like it's as real as oxygen and chloroform. The chloroform, whatever it is, the bloody plants use. The energies are real. The resonances are real. Everything has a frequency, from the smallest ant to the largest thing on the planet, to a building. Everything, like the bridge that collapsed that we all know about, where the soldiers were marching across it, and the resonance of their feet all marching in time caused the bridge to collapse. But yet a tank could have went across it, no issue. Everything has frequencies. Everything has energy, and we need to start listening to it. We need to start listening to ourselves. We really do. Like, how many times do you hear people say, "Oh, if only I'd listened to my gut instinct. If only I'd listened to myself, I wouldn't have been in that position. That wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have got robbed. I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have had that accident." How many times do you hear it? But we just don't listen to it. So I guess that would be my main message to anyone that's listening, is to go on a voyage, go on a journey, and start looking, start researching, but start realizing that we are in a massive field of energies of all different types, of all different dimensions. There's we have this way of thought. We have our thought process. We have this way of being taught, where our science says this, and we have this guy that says, "Oh, well, an apple fell on my head, and that's gravity." And that's how we recognize gravity, and that's how we think about gravity. What if that's just a constraint we've had put on ourselves? Like, you look at these things that have been flying around and changing directions at ridiculous, like, I know what 6 degrees, 6 degrees of G-force is. I feel it. I felt it on a racetrack. I know what G-force is. You ain't surviving that shit when that thing changes direction at thousands of kilometers an hour at a 90-degree angle. You are smeared paint on the wall. But what if they've found a way to change the magnetic resonance of the energy field around them, to change gravity? I mean, what if they've got technology where gravity just does not exist because it's been a burden? I mean, what do we do when we come across a burden? We try and find a problem. We solve it. We look at alternatives. Oh, there's a mountain in the road. Well, can we go around it, or do we build a tunnel?
Or just go directly through it and cut out half of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we could be like the Queensland government and build tunnels and make this great speech and go, yeah, we've got a train tunnel now and everything's great, and let's do a great big grand opening. And oh, sorry, what? You didn't order the trains? Wasn't that your job? You should have ordered the trains. I thought I had to order them. You didn't order the trains. Like, this happened. This is real. And people, look at that in the news and go, oh, yeah, they made a bit of a boo-boo there. And then you look at this side of things and people go, don't want to know. Don't want to hear about it. Don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, look, that's supposed to be the thing. Like, the secrets to the universe is supposed to be sound and vibration. And it's like, if you listen to, like, music on the radio or however you listen to music there, it resonates with you. It does something to you. It changes your mood. It gets inside you somehow there, and it can just change everything that you're doing in that moment there. It's exactly like you're saying, like sound and frequencies. Like, it changes you. So honestly, that's everything.
I mean, what's coming out of that speaker? You can't see it. You can't smell it. No. You can certainly feel it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, you look at the dog whistle. We can't hear it. Drives dogs nuts.
I haven't tried it. I want to try that.
So, how can you not accept that there's energies and frequencies out there that we aren't aware of yet?
That's right.
Haven't looked into.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Like, you can feel people's emotions. Like some people say, like, they're empaths or something like. Like, I feel like that's where you would have that sort of like a bit of ability, and I sort of like I have it sometimes. I'm sure everyone has some sort of ability there, or some sort of form of empath. Some are a bit more attuned to it than others. There, it's like you're saying, like you can go and meet someone completely random there, and you have like a bit of a bad vibe about them. Like, they might not come across as a bad person there, but there's something about them, like you're saying, there's some sort of niggling feeling. There you go, I don't like you for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, and you think back to what you grew up with. First impressions count, son.
Yep.
Why? I mean, are you judging their shoelaces? Are you looking at their forehead?
That's
Or are
right.
you accepting the energy that you're about to encounter?
Mm,
And we just call it something different.
could
First
be.
impressions count.
Could very well be.
Back to that.
So look, mate, I've got a
Back
few
to that
questions here
language
for
thing,
you.
isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yes.
So just so this is going back to the discussion there with the Gympie pyramid there and that. So was like any Aboriginal artifacts sold or destroyed or anything like anything sort of recovered that you're aware of?
Um, the Aboriginal site itself has been recognised as a sacred site for millennia, 60 odd thousand years, as long as the Indigenous people say that they've been here. As far as Aboriginal artefacts and things like that, no, there's nothing really. There's no borrow ground. There's no ceremonial site. There is no what you would call mortar and pestle or things like that of that nature. There was no a lot of ancient a lot of ancient early Egyptian artifacts were found, but not so much the Aboriginal. The Aboriginal, the local tribe has held that site as sacred because of the energy that is held there. And sorry, that just threw me a little bit even saying that out loud. It's the energy of that site that has drawn the Indigenous people there. It's the energy of the site that has made the Indigenous people protect it. And throughout millennia of that area being protected by the Indigenous people, the modern current Australian government, national government, not state, recognised it as a sacred site for the Aboriginal people. The Aboriginal people weren't protecting their borrow ground. They weren't protecting an Aboriginal burial ground. There was no broken glass. There was no chips of white rock. There was none of that to represent a burial ground. The Aboriginal people, the Indigenous people, were protecting that site, that history that wasn't
Yeah, fair enough.
theirs.
So I've got another question here that will sort of probably relate more to that too. Is with Mish there, is the Gympie pyramid on a ley line that you're aware of?
From what I've found out and through some of the reading that I've done, I believe all pyramids that have been discovered lay on ley lines.
Yeah. That's sort of something I've looked into
Right
a little
down
bit
to
too. And it seems everything
The
seems to
Stonehenge
be,
that's not
yeah,
called Stonehenge. All these sites, Göbekli, all these sites in Turkey, Budapest, Tibet, Australia, they're all on ley lines. They're all on energy ley lines.
yeah. So it makes me wonder what the purpose of the ley lines actually were. Then, obviously they found a way to do it. And I know like Earth is supposed to give us its own energy there. Like there's no need for electricity that we have today because the energy, the Earth or something like gives off its own energy or something like that we can use. And
Yeah, and like I, I I quickly think of the monoliths in Egypt and a few other places around the world, the big square, tall, obelisk, bloody things that's I sort of think of that and I link that to the the energy sources that I believe the ancient people were using. Um, the things we call vases, the pyramids that we call tombs, these monuments that we call monuments. I don't think it'd be that hard to make a connection between lightning rods, pyramids that can contain, collect the power that may be harnessed from the lightning that has hit some of these big obelisk monolith bloody towers.
oh
And
yeah,
then you look at the vases and the things like that, and these massive big marble and granite stone boxes. Do they not look like batteries? Like, do they not look like
yeah,
big solid batteries that might have a fluid in it that might be able to contain energy, might be able to harness power? I mean,
yeah.
there's still trying to tell us, they did all the artwork in the tombs down the road and the Valley of the Kings. All this was done with mirrors. Seriously, you polished up a bit of metal back then, and you had daylight in the middle of these bloody tombs and tunnels that are, in the middle of mountains, and did this fine artwork and carvings and things like that. And, oh no, they use candles. Well, there's no soot. There's no evidence of burning. They had energy. They had power. There's no question. I mean, you look at some of the stuff they've discovered that like the statues on Easter Island. You've got the ones that are standing up. You've got a couple laying down. Now they found some that are halfway through being carved. Some that have been started. How did they cut them? How did they carve them? How did they lift them? How did they
even get in there?
Out of the hole and down the mountain.
Yeah, there's something about them too. Like they're all of them are facing a certain direction. I can't remember. I hope Triff's still listening here because he's the one that mentioned this. Yeah, they're facing towards somewhere. They're all of them. Every single one of them is facing the exact same direction.
Yeah, and they link some of these statues and the placings of them with Stonehenge and with a couple of other places around the world that seem to line up with what some people believe are constellations. Other people believe what we were talking about, the energy lines, the ley lines, things like that.
So just going through some more questions there. So this is a bit of a probably all-rounder sort of question here. I think I'll put my camera back on. Probably a bit of an all-rounder sort of question here. Like, why do you think most people don't get to have experiences with others? Like, obviously, you've got your own experience there, and something we've sort of discussed in the past there about, could have been family DNAs or something that's something special about that certain person. Like, what have you sort of discovered in that sort of things?
I think definitely generational. And when I say generational, it's not mum to son or grandson to granddad. It's multi-generational. It's something I think has occurred throughout my family without probably any of them wanting to admit it, apart from some of the women in my family. It's been forever. This connection has been forever since the day of my forefathers were born of their forefathers. This isn't a new thing. This isn't something I've gone to seek out to happen. I just believe it's always happened. It's always been here. The reason why I don't believe everyone has this encounter, I think it doesn't come down to, I'm choosing them because they're better than you, or they don't live in Eagleby. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it's purely down to your DNA. We've all had a spliced DNA. And I think the biggest issue is what we've been discussing, the energies, the frequencies. Like, if you're not open to this, you're not seeing shit. 99% of the population go down the freeway and not see the person that's beside them in the lane that's choking out the guy in the passenger seat. They're too busy looking over the dashboard. The blinkers are on. Their life revolves around themselves, and they're making enough money to pay their rent. I think that's probably the biggest issue is the governments work so well at making us complacent enough to not ride in the street, but make us divided enough to not come together. So whilst we have division of all kinds, I don't believe there will be a majority of people that will experience this. And like I said, for anyone that says, well, why haven't they come out? Like, why the hell would they? Like, you imagine these guys rocking up, pulling up, hey guys, how you doing? We'll just sort of drop our energy field here and let you know we're here. You don't do that in the wrong part of America. There'll be certain parts of Australia you probably wouldn't want to do that in. So, I think it's a shame. I think it is a shame that it's not a global consciousness. And I think the possibilities are endless as a race, as a human race. The possibilities are endless. I think if we opened ourselves up to what could be. Um, at the moment, we're all doctrined through our high schooling and through our schooling as to what is and what isn't. And we get taught things through our life that we're meant to believe, and we get to adulthood and later on in our life, and we get the opportunities to question these things. And I think we should. I think it's our right. I think it's our obligation to. So once again, I've said it before, Anthony. Without you, mate, without people like you, this movement, this crisis will be averted, because you're here, because you're giving the people the voice, you're giving the opportunity for people to come on. Like, there's people that can be around the world that can tune into you right now and listen to what we're saying. And I think that's a great phenomenon. I think that's a fantastic opportunity. You can deny all you want, but it doesn't change a goddamn thing.
Yeah. So, look, I'm not going to deny it at all, but I appreciate it. But I think it's more so you guys coming forward, like yourself, the people that come forward and want to actually speak about this, they're the real forefront here. They're carrying this war to the reality that is out there. It's, to me, that I think that's
yes no.
the biggest thing here.
I mean, like for instance, without calling him out too much, let's talk about the Boxing Day cloud. Big family event, 20 people all together in a park, beautiful day beside the bay down there in Victoria Point, southeast Queensland, and great day. Like as much as a lot of family are unwell with flus and every bloody thing else that everyone bloody brought up from New South Wales and everywhere else they come from. It was a great day. Energy was good. We had a couple of big marquees. We had the boats, we had the canoes and the paddle boards and all the gear. We had everything. It was a lovely Boxing Day thing for the family to do. And mid-afternoon, just after lunch, I just sat back a little bit, just out of the marquee, just sitting there under a tree. And I could see between the marquee, the tree, straight out through over the bay. And I was on the corner of the park, so there was a street behind me and there was a street running down to my right. And just over the marquee, I could see the power lines heading to the corner before they changed direction and headed along the water. Not hard to find where this park is. So yeah, we're sitting there. We'd had a few hours there. I think we'd been out in the water. The kids were there, so we'd had a little bit to eat. There wasn't much drinking. I think there was a few beers there, but there wasn't much drinking because it was 4 or 5 of us were driving, and kids and everything. So it wasn't a get together piss up fest, I guess, for the boys. It was more a family outing for the day. And there was a couple of big, cumulus, whatever they want to call them, those big fluffy clouds. There was a couple of them coming over the back of the bay. You could see them, and just something caught my attention. It was just above the power lines, and these, you got the big, massive, fluffy clouds way off in the distance. In the background, there was, I think, one cloud way off to my left, way over on the horizon. But they were all the same. They were the big, fluffy white clouds. And I just, as I was looking at the big clouds coming over the back of the bay, I just seen this little, like it was a pinch of a cloud. Like it was cute to the point it was that small. And I just looked at it, that's a bloody odd shape. That is just a freaky little shape of a cloud. And I'm thinking it must be growing. Like I'm watching the birth of a bloody cloud. Like, this is just unreal. Who gets to see this every day? And my brother walked past the one that's just a bit younger than me, and he walked past out of the marquee, and I went, "Hey, brother, have a look at that bloody cloud." And he's turned around and he's sort of looked around, and he went, "Oh shit, what the hell is that?" And I went, "No, like, you can see that?" And he goes, "Yeah, what is it?" I said, "I think it's about to disappear, mate. I think it's a cloud. Like, it doesn't look right, does it?" And he goes, "Doesn't look right, mate. What?" And he's had a good swear about it. Stood there with me and stared at it, and we both watch it just flash over and disappear, just gone, just dunk. He just looked at me and said, "Did that blink and go away?" I just looked at him and had a bit of a laugh, sat back down in my seat. I said, "I don't know, brother, call it what you like, but you just seen that, and you cannot deny it." that shut him up, mate. Like he was dumbfounded for the day. He had nothing. He had absolutely nothing. So look, I did do a brief. I've got to flick back through, and I'm sorry. Please don't be reading everything on my pages.
You're right.
So I've tried to do a brief little. I've tried to do a brief little diagram of what the cloud looks like. So picture a nice, big, beautiful blue sky, and oh god, and this sort of shape, this sort of shape.
Yeah,
here.
it's strange, isn't it?
So this is my first.
So it went like a bit of a
first
tornado
rough
sort of
view.
shape, and then like a funnel kind of shape.
It was almost like a squiggly 9. This was the first part that was visible.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is my sort of more refined drawing. So it was shaped like almost like a reverse bow of a ship. You see the ship, the first point of the ship coming under the railing before the little bubble comes out at the bottom. It was almost shaped like that, but in reverse. And this shape, I'll just point at the phone screen. That's not going to help me. So this shape here that took up, which I've refined to that. This was the cloudy shape sort of thing that was in front of it. So it was like these two little strips of cloud, but this part in front was more fluffy white, I guess, and this part here was almost like a reflective metallic-y silvery colour.
Yeah, right. That is odd.
And what I got out of it, what I looked at and what I seen and witnessed, I guess you would say it was almost as if you've hidden yourself behind a curtain, and you've just pulled the curtain aside just to have a little bit of a peek, and then gone, oh shit.
That's
what it was like. It was almost like a malfunction of vision. Like you could see this full solid. I wouldn't say it was metal. I wouldn't say it was solid metal type thing, but you could see this full solid form of color, like a shiny reflective color, with this almost like this little fluffy bit of white cloud out of the front of it, and it just sort of waved over. It just sort of the word my brother used was blinked. It just sort of like a flash of light went over its surface, and as that happened, this little cloud in front of it just disappeared and that was gone.
Yeah, right. So where was it? Was this like what, Moreton Bay or Redland Bay or?
Yeah, Moreton Bay, Redland Bay. Yeah, Redland Bay itself. Yep. Yeah, just off Victoria Point.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Before you hop on the ferry, I guess, to go to Coochie.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Like, I'm not one for like.
Day, it was more than strange. The reaction of my brother was pretty cool. Like he's pretty down to earth. He doesn't suffer fools easily. And I just let it go. I didn't push him because I know he's seen it, and we discussed it. And the look on his face of incredulous disbelief of what he just seen with his eyes, without me having to describe it to him, I made him describe it to me, and I was like, "Yep, gotcha.
That's good.
Not deny this now." So I let it go. I mentioned to him a couple of hours later. I was like, "Brother, how about that cloud?" And he goes, "Don't even talk to me about that cloud." And that was it. Like, that was the end of that discussion. The next day, refused to even accept it. Like, I'm not, no, I don't know what that was. Yeah, I don't know. Bloody reflection. Don't know. Not sure. No, I don't talk about it. And yeah, since then awesome. he's been a bit distant with me. He's been a bit quiet. Yeah.
Oh, damn. I was hoping he might start looking into this whole topic himself, so like, oh, okay, look, there's something strange going on here. I need to kind of look into it.
He's got. I know how he works. He will.
That's
he
good.
won't admit it, but he will. Yeah, I mean, and like my son, I mean, I love him to death. I'd cut off both my arms without batting an eyelid for my son. He's a man. He's a machine, and he's one family member, my only family member that knows I've spoken to you. He knows I've been on this podcast, and he knows the episodes, and he doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to know about it.
Is it because he's having something himself going on, or is it? I don't want to touch too much on it because obviously personal reasons, but
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Both my children are very spiritual beings. Even though one's in my phone with her middle name as Glock.
Yeah.
And she works for our government. She's still a very spiritual being, and my son's the same, to the point where they haven't been christened. I just felt and this is just a firm belief, personal belief, that it's a form of child abuse to have an adult force upon a baby who has no will whatsoever that you are going to be growing up with this belief, you will be growing up under this discipline. I find it abhorrent. I've got nothing against religion. I've got nothing against people that believe in it. I've openly discussed this with my children in the last 12 months, that if they want to be baptised, if they want to be christened, I am 100% behind them, but I want them to choose their religion. I want them to choose their faith. I feel it's horrible that generations of people have been brought up under this guise of this church because their parents said. And that's one of those blinkers that I think society has been able to use to close us off to a hell of a lot that we can be aware of if we open ourselves open to it.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to throw myself in the deep end here. Like when my kids sort of bring up religion and that, I don't dismiss them of the religion there, but I also say don't trust it as much as what people say it is. You know, there's a lot of bad things that have happened in religion, so I don't go like deep down into the whole thing. I said, look, don't rely on it. You don't need to be in a religion there to be a good person. You can just be yourself, and as long as you treat other people fine, then that's it. But if you want to learn about Jesus and all sorts of stuff, like learn about it. But like it's not going to change who you need to be.
And you know, I mean, without sounding like an absolute lunatic, I firmly believe Jesus is real. I mean,
He probably was, yeah.
Based a bloodline that they've proven that this bloodline has existed. So I got no question that Jesus was real. Was he the Son of God? Was he born to a mother who didn't have sex? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. May she been impregnated with something that may not have needed a penis? That's a different story altogether. I mean, we've got artificial insemination. You know, we do this. You know, we've got people that win prizes for their oysters because they've been artificially inseminating their oysters.
That's right.
I don't say it's a big stretch that that Jesus could have been born without a father having sex with his mother. I don't think that's a big issue. But my question to you is, what if Jesus is one of us? Like, what if he was a person that grew up with experiences and stepped out and spoke of it and made himself a bit of a target? Like,
well, so that's the big thing too. Like, the going by history, we may have worshipped these beings as gods, and like you're saying, if he's had some sort of experience and some sort of encounter or contact, and he's gone, they're a god. Well, I'm going to consider them as a god because they come from the sky or whatever. They can talk to you through telepathy and all sorts of stuff. Very well could have been. Every one of these biblical sort of characters there could have well and truly been a abductee of some sort or a contactee.
Well, they could have been very well a contactee. There's no question. No question.
So that's going to throw a spin in the works there for the old Bible.
It's not that smart. Ooh, yes, it does. And and there's at least 75 people that are responsible for writing the Bible, up to 750.
Yeah.
Like this is the amount of influence that has been put into that document, and
Yeah.
and let's disperse between Old Testament and New Testament. Like, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've discussed it before. It doesn't matter if you worship Allah, you worship God, you worship this, you worship the Indian gods. It doesn't matter. You take away the you take away the what's the word? You take away the clutter. You take away the distraction, and they're all the same. They all have the same background beliefs. They all have the same background stories. They all have the same myths. It's so common. There's too many coincidences for it to be not worthy of acceptance.
Yeah.
And I got the pleasure of spending 9, 10, 12 hours with a new modern thinking Palestinian in a car together. Like, we discussed so many things. It was crazy. But even him, as a closed Muslim who grew up with such a strict upbringing and such a strict religion, even he was questioning things by the end of the day, because I was talking about the Bible and things that's said in the Bible. And he'd be like, oh, no, this was said in the Quran. No, mate, I've never read the Quran. This is said in the Bible. So, we started to go into these sort of things, and we started to go over it, and ancient writings, ancient scribes, ancient what do they call them? The scrolls. I mean, these are thousands of years old, and they speak of these encounters.
Yeah.
They speak of these beings. They speak of these people. But he may have been Moses' cousin. Well, he may very well have been. He was Moses.
That's right. I just love the fact, though, that, like, they all speak about the Bible and Jesus and all from the Middle East and whatnot. But yeah, every time we speak of, Jesus from the Western side of things, he's depicted as a white guy. And he's like, that does make sense. He's from the Middle East. He should be,
I've got an uncle, God rest him, Gus Previati, great man. He was a manager of Wollongong Wolves, the soccer team in Wollongong, for many years. Great guy. He was responsible for introducing the Black Madonna to Australia. So up until him making it official with the Catholic Church that they needed to recognise the Black Madonna, that never existed in Australia. Every picture.
What's the Black Madonna? I'm not sure I'm familiar with it.
It's a true depiction of Jesus' mother.
Ah. Yeah, right.
And she's black.
Well, there you go. There you go.
She's black, and she's in all the religious gowns. She's got all the gear, and that's the earliest depiction of the Madonna. Is from Italy, and yeah, she's black, mate. She's black. Pretty well exactly what you see as every other Madonna picture in art and statues and everything else, but she's not white. She's black, real black.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And my uncle's not black; he's Italian.
Yeah.
So yeah, he fought for the Catholic. He fought the Catholic Church in Australia to have that recognised.
Yeah. See, look, that's a perfect example of religion itself. They're so warped and carried on over the years, and I've said it was too. Like, they destroyed the world to how it is today, just to come on to sort of control it to their own agendas. And like, I hate religion for that. There's wars over it just because it's my God that's the right God. How much history has been lost because of that idiotic sort of
and we're
thinking.
We're watching it happen today.
Yeah, it's still happening today. Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
Watching it happen today. Yeah, look at ISIS and the damage they did, and
yep. And all history of their bloody blowing up.
Destroyed ancient history, sites, artifacts.
Yeah.
Everything that they couldn't carry and sell.
It's ridiculous.
And this is happening today in front of our media, in front of our social media. No one gives a
Yeah.
damn. So you can't tell me that, I'll make blowing up the side of the pyramids with a bit of gelignite and stripping out all the lime and, all the stuff that was lined on top of the pyramids. And, you look at the peak of the pyramids, it still shows that section that was pretty protected, preserved. And they're saying that may very well have had a cap of gold over it. Well,
Yeah.
that ain't hanging around. That's going to go, isn't it?
That's
you look at the amount of lime that they took. Every bit of granite that could be lifted and taken and used was quarried out of the pyramids.
Yeah.
They basically left what they couldn't carry.
Yeah. It's
it's
sad.
Modern
it's
man's
real
got a lot
sad.
to answer for, I think.
Oh.
It is sad. So yeah, and I mean, look.
So anyway, mate, before we, you're all right. Continue.
You're right.
I was going to say, so before we finish up,
the Ark of the Covenant.
Delay. Yeah, it's bloody delay.
Did a phone tag?
Yeah, it's like we're talking to another side of the country. I don't know what's going on these days. I was going to ask, before we finish up, mate, it's going again. Hang on, I'll let you finish. You finish.
I'm not saying anything.
You continue on with your arc thing there, and I was going to say, it's ridiculous. You continue your arc. I want to know. I want to bet there's arc now.
Look at the technology. You look at the technology of the Ark of the Covenant. I think MythBusters did an episode on it where they tried to replicate it and nearly electrocuted themselves.
Yeah.
The energy involved with the different types of metals that are used and the way they were founded and foundried. That you can't tell me that this isn't not all energy based. There's a lot of ancient technology that we just scoff at and go, no, it's not real. And quick thought process. I think the closest thing I could come to fake modern encounters, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, whatever you want to call them, the new word that they're using, I think would be the Tic Tacs. I 100% firmly believe that is man-made. That technology is whether it be our government or another government or whichever government or a group of governments, that technology has been produced. That technology isn't being, I guess the closest thing you'd put it to would be a drone. That's unmanned aircraft, and it is experimental. If they were real, if they were what we perceive to be as what they call them now, which isn't UFOs, then where's the history of them? There's no history of those things.
Yeah, that's right.
Never. There's nothing. There's no tick-tock looking bloody things that have ever been written on a wall or put through myth or anything. This is a new technology that we have found, seen, been able to acknowledge. That's just a belief I have. I firmly believe that's probably the closest thing to fake UFOs we have is these Tic Tacs that have been filmed recently.
Yeah, that's fair enough too. The closest thing I could think to a Tic Tac is the old cigar shape that's been seen for a long time, but everything's sort of related to around saucer shape sort of craft.
Yeah, this new Tic Tac sensation thing, I firmly believe is our technology. Our technology that I would firmly believe has been back engineered from what they have, from what they've discovered, found, been allowed to share with. That's just my belief anyway. The Tic Tacs aren't anything that we're going to be scratching our heads over. That will be technology that I believe will be admitted to. Yeah.
That's fair enough too. It seems quite plausible actually when you look at it that way too. But anyway, look, before we finish up, mate, I got one quick question there for you. Now, obviously, with your experience there with with these people, as you want to call them, going through your your new discovery of like energies and stuff like that, and vibing and sort of stuff. Like, have you felt any sort of like closer connections, or have you had any recent connections, interactions maybe with these people?
Not so much. I felt a bit of a disconnection when I first spoke to you, I think, but I think that was self-perceived. I think what I have found is an allowance. I've found a what's the word? I don't think they're annoyed at what I'm
Well, that's
doing
good.
and what I've spoken about. Yeah, I don't feel a disconnect at all. I feel a bit more peaceful, to be honest. If anything, yeah, probably more peaceful. Certainly feel a sense of achievement because a lot of the questions I've asked myself all my life are now starting to make sense, and I think the answers are here. I think the answers are here. We just need to look for them and probably accept them
Yeah. Have you like tried to like
without being
reach out to them at all? Like, some sort of like meditations and stuff like that?
no, no. I don't think that's. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think it's a thing for me. Sorry. Um, I believe there are people that would be able, and especially groups of people that have the same energy. I believe they are able to project that energy, and they should be able to make contact with something, anything. Like the young lady that we were listening to the other night. She has a disconnect between spirituality and these type of encounters. Like she feels there's a dead set line between them, and they both exist, but they don't coexist. I don't
Yeah.
believe that. I think there is a massive coexistence. I think there's a massive recognition that coexistence is there, and it is all part of a cohesive global community that I believe has always been here, decimated many times, and to the point of gone. But I certainly believe that there are remnants of those civilizations that still exist, still live, and still interact with us. I think that is probably the clearest and easiest way I can put it. And when I go back to the people that I spoke of, the connect that I've had, the familiarization that I've had, it's DNA. It comes back to that ground root of they are us. They are everything. They are part of this world, this universe, and they always have been, and they always will be. And to not put a scary point on it, how far away is the next cataclysm where we may be the next lost civilization?
Yeah. Well, that's
played
the
on my
biggest
mind.
question. Yeah. Well, where it's going to be from ourselves or from an environmental disaster, who knows? But I sort of feel like it's going to be from ourselves more than anything before
And
environmental comes along.
you think about it. We have a polar shift. We have a meteor, a comet, whatever. Who cares? The Earth wants to split in half. Something happens. There will be remnants of our civilization that will survive.
Yeah, they will.
Most likely the hunter-gatherers of us, and not the IT guys, but there's a good chance that remnants of our civilization will survive. No different to any civilization that has existed, pre-existed, or still exists on our planet today.
Yeah, that's right.
You think of that old aspect of we've explored what 5%, less than 10% of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, you can imagine what is down
in
there.
front of me and say, "Oh, we know everything." You don't know shit.
No, we don't know jack shit really. Like, we're still discovering, like we were saying before. We're still discovering lost civilizations in the ocean. It's still so much there, and like we know more about, or so we claim, we know more about out in space than we do there in our own ocean. And there's new animals being discovered now that we thought never existed or were extinct. Yeah. So it's quite amazing.
I read somewhere once that if you could take a square meter of the ocean and you would discover at least 15,000 new species that we don't know about on a microbial level and up.
Yeah. That's it. Well, mate, I think we'll end it there tonight, mate.
Anyway,
we've
look,
gone.
I literally, I could talk to you all night. So thank you for pulling us up and stopping us.
I know the old delay there's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass tonight, but we'll work through it, mate. But appreciate it.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, look, mate, it's wonderful either way, mate. Talking about like going from where you start off to, mate, like you're nearly an emotional wreck talking to us to begin with there, even just trying to start off to even talk about your encounters there, to where you've come to now, mate. Like you've gone down this massive path there to try and discover what you can, well, try and discover something there. So like you're trying to answer your own questions basically, and trying to discover your own person and what's life got entailed for you, mate. And I hope your journey does go a long way, mate, and you find the answers there, especially in your new career that you got now, mate. I really hope it does all work out well for you.
Yeah, look, I started a transport company, mate, so I can just drive out in the middle of the night. I can be in the middle of nowhere delivering stuff, and it's my time frame. I can do it when I want, and it's great. Like, anyway, but look, it may not succeed, but it's definitely helping me with what I'm doing currently.
Well, mate, look, give it a shout out. Look, I'm here. I'm here to help you out. If you got something that can help you on the journey, mate, by all means, shout it out. I'm sure someone can go and make some use of you, especially in the transport department.
Look, it's called Aussie Motorcycle Movers. So yeah, we just I deliver motorcycles. I deliver happiness and meet smiles.
Absolutely, mate. Like, is that Australia wide?
Yeah, look, we're looking at Australia wide. We get stuff out of Perth, so we're doing a run up north. So I'm hoping to catch up with you either on the way up or on the way back.
Sounds good.
We'll go anywhere, go everywhere. At the moment, I'm getting paid to see the countryside, deliver people's bikes, and be greeted with smiles. And I get the opportunity to be where I want, when I want, and be able to research more and speak to you. So. Once again,
absolutely.
thank you, because this journey's partly yours as well. Because to be honest, mate, without you, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd probably be in a mental institute or rocking in the corner like a rat bag. I thank you because, like I said, without people like you, Anthony, we're stuffed.
No, I appreciate it, mate. And like I said, I don't want to take all the limelight there, mate, for that. Like, I still think it's you guys there coming forward, mate. That's like I'm just the guy who listens here and just helps provide it, mate. But you guys here, like I said, you guys are the ones who are bringing the reality to life more than anything. That's where it's at. The truth is from all you guys coming forward.
Mate, the biggest energy force needs a conduit.
Yep, that's it.
You might just
that's exactly right. No, that's awesome. Look, mate, if I ever get a bike, mate, I'm gonna be hitching you up for sure, though.
Oh, mate, we do quads, buggies, jet skis.
Buggies. If you can find me a good cheap dirt bike, mate, let me know. It's half decent. I'd love to get one. I'd love to get back on the old dirt bike. I haven't been a while since I've been on one of them. Bloody good fun.
We will chat. I've actually been dealing with a company who's been started by the head designer from Honda for the last 25 years, and he's out making his own bikes. So hit me
beautiful. Well, if you need a test dummy, I'm happy to go and take one.
They're actually a good product. Really good.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Mate, that's good.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Mate, pleasure is all mine, mate. Thanks again, mate. I'll talk to you very soon. Here's you, mate. Catch you later.
You will. See you.
Bye. Oh, gosh, what a ripper. Mate, if you haven't checked out Mick in the past there with these episodes there, I think it was in season 4 there. I know I had Michelle there in the comments there asking where it was there. I can't 100% sure remember which season. I'm pretty sure it was season 4. I'm pretty sure it was only last year we're only speaking. But if you haven't checked it out, check it out. There's 2 episodes there. And the first episode definitely left us on a cliffhanger there, which we ended up going through that, and it's a really good breakthrough of where Mick's journey in, and obviously where we got to tonight with their Mick's journey again. Give us a minute there, Michelle. I'll try and find the episode for you. I don't have to go through me, buddy. Potty here now. I go through which one it is. It's where are we gone? I'm pretty sure. Strange Experiences All My Life, part 1 and 2. So they're pretty much next to each other. because I was too keen to getting back on the next week after. So anyway, yeah, the season 4, episode 11 and episode 12. So go check that one out. Yeah, absolute ripper of an episodes. But yeah, look, guys, don't forget if you have any friends or family or yourself who wants to get in touch there and talk about your experiences there, by all means, come and hit me up, chat with me, or get me through the Facebook page, Messenger, or the email there at Australian UFO sightings at outlook.com.au. Also, don't forget to hit a like on this bad boy here, wherever you're listening from, YouTube or Facebook, wherever it is, helps with the algorithms to the rest of the world there on social medias there going, hey, look at me, this is a good show, go and check it out with all these likes on it and all that. Also, don't forget you can go and support the show there through our online store there. I'm still trying to go through some other niggly providers there to try and get some more awesome merchandise there without ripping you off. But the place I've got at the moment, so it doesn't seem to be too bad price wise there. Get yourself some little awesome little mugs like this one here. All right, there we go. Get yourself a nice little mug like that there, or get yourself one of these little cool little shirts that are backwards at the moment. Hello, oh no, that's cool. There you go. Yeah, get something like that. And I think if we get Mick back on, if he's still got his shirt on, he might have taken his shirt off now because he's rocking. He's taking his shirt off. He has too. I thought he did. I'll get him. Yeah, show it up there, Mick. There you go.
I got the shirt. It's a good shirt.
He's got one of them too. He's rocking one.
I actually like rocking it.
Yeah, that's the game, mate.
I quite like it, and they
they
work really well because they bring the conversations in. But on the days where you just don't want to be sociable, you don't want to talk to people, you can wear that as well, and people won't come up and talk to you. So
that's right.
They work great both ways. I love it. I think it's a great design, great shirt. You know, bugger off. I'm undressed.
Keep your pants on. That's it. That's cool. Love it. But yeah, guys, look, if you want to support the show, that's where you can find them. If you have any trouble there getting some merch there, yeah, hit me up. I'll try and send you in the right direction there. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave us now. We've been well over and truly 2 hours now, so we're hitting records here. The longest one I've done is 3 hours, I think, over 3 hours. But anyway, I'm done and dusted for the night. I'll see you next time, guys. Keep in touch if you haven't subscribed to the shows, YouTube and Facebook there. Get onto it, guys. All right, I'm out. See you later. Catch you later. Bye.